Welcome to Women's Rugby Rundown 239 for March 23rd through the 29th. This week, it's absolutely packed. We've got action across the globe, including a shocker in Sao Paulo as Brazil secured their spot in the elite HSBC Sevens World Championship. In 15's news, the international calendar is locking in with squad announcements for the Pacific Four Series and the highly anticipated Guinness Six Nations. Netherlands and Spain issued overwhelming statements to kick off the European Championships, and the Wolfhounds snagged their third Celtic Challenge title. On the domestic front, the Italian champions were crowned, and the race for playoff spots is heating up everywhere from England to Uganda. We also have critical developing stories regarding player welfare in Mexico, Scotland, and the club level in England that are shaking the foundations of the game. I'm Wendy, here to bring you the latest in women's rugby news. This is your Women's Rugby Rundown, and we're about to kick off. Let's start with Sevens news. It was a monumental stunner in Sao Paulo where host Brazil pulled off a logic-defying upset in the final of the HSBC Sevens 2 Series. They defeated Kenya 24-12 to snatch both the tournament title and the final coveted qualification spot for the World Championship Series. Frankly, it was a stunning performance in front of a hysterical home crowd, sealed by the breathtaking speed of the player of the tournament, Talia Costa, who crossed twice in the second half to raise the roof. Brazil now moves into the season-ending series starting in Hong Kong this April, where they will line up against Argentina, South Africa, and Spain, and the Sevens 1 teams. Now over to 15's news. The WRUs took out Fijiana 33-15 in their season-opening victory. It was Australia's first outing since their disappointing World Cup campaign, and despite showing some expected early rust and navigating a yellow card, they were sharp when it mattered, demonstrating the clinical depth they are building towards hosting the Rugby World Cup in 2029. It was a dream debut for teenage fly half Nicole Leddington, who stole the show with a magnificent opening try and a crucial last-ditch try saver that perfectly encapsulated Australia's grit. The Australians now shift their focus to a heavyweight North American tour in 2 weeks, where they will face Canada in a highly anticipated rematch of their World Cup quarterfinal battle, while Fijiana prepares to host Japan. The European Championship started with 2 absolutely overwhelming statement victories from title contenders. Spain kicked off their campaign with a huge 39-0 shutout victory over Belgium, as Las Leonas kept the Belgian side off the scoreboard entirely. Not to be outdone, the Netherlands delivered their own statement in Amsterdam, brutally shutting out Portugal 59-0 to also start their championship charge with a big win. The Dutch side was overwhelming from start to finish, providing a powerful display that kept Portugal scoreless while solidifying the Netherlands' place at the top of the standings. It was a blistering opening round, and Spain and Netherlands are tied at the top of the table on maximum points, setting the stage for a mouth-watering decisive showdown later in the tournament. The Wolfhounds have secured a third Celtic Challenge championship after defeating the Clovers 50-29 in an all-Irish final at Hive Stadium. Despite a gritty performance from the Clovers, who led early in the second half, the Wolfhounds' power proved too much as they pulled away with 8 tries. Player of the match Aaron King sealed the victory with a critical try, providing a massive momentum boost for the many squad members now heading into Ireland's Six Nations campaign. Looking ahead to the upcoming international window, the major squads are locking in, and Canada has named a powerful 30-player roster for the 2026 Pacific Four Series as they kick off a new cycle. The roster is loaded with elite experience, featuring 18 returning stars from their 2025 World Cup campaign, including inspirational captain Alexandra Tessier and the powerhouse loose forward Sofa de Goody, who made such a seismic impact in England. The squad also includes 7 potential new caps. The Pacific Four Series begins April 11th with the United States taking on New Zealand before Canada will face Australia. The Black Ferns have officially launched a new era under head coach Whitney Hansen, unveiling an exciting 30-player squad for the Pacific Four Series that balances established powerhouses with explosive, fresh talent. Highlighting the roster is the inclusion of 8 potential debutantes, including high school sensation Justine McGregor. The squad leans on the experience of 20 returning World Cup stars like co-captain Ruhe Demont. However, it's not all smooth sailing in the PWR. New Zealand is currently grappling with strict domestic eligibility rules that are preventing some of the stars from representing their country. A wave of top players, including veterans like Amy Rule and Alana Borland, have made the bold decision to trade their Black Ferns contracts for full seasons in the PWR. They're heading north not for bigger paychecks, which don't exist, but for the consistent high-intensity game time that the current New Zealand domestic structure lacks. While hooker Georgia Ponsonby was recently granted a special board exemption to join the upcoming series, this growing tension highlights a critical gap in the New Zealand calendar. As the 2027 Lions Tour and the 2029 World Cup loom, New Zealand Rugby faces a difficult dilemma: soften their rigid stance or risk losing their very best talent to the competitive Northern Leagues. We're also gearing up for the opening weekend of the 2026 Guinness Women's Six Nations, and the last two squad announcements are in. France has confirmed their finalized 32-player squad following a rigorous preparation camp, revealing a ruthless selection process aimed at maximizing competitiveness from minute one. Les Bleus, seeking to refine a new game plan after their World Cup disappointment, will open their campaign hosting Italy and Ireland with a clear focus on execution. Meanwhile, Wales has named a dynamic 38-player roster, appointing the inspirational flanker Kate Williams as captain to lead a new-look group into this cycle. The Welsh squad, laden with the brightest domestic talent selected directly from the Celtic Challenge pathways, features 9 uncapped players and is highlighted by the incredible, inspiring return of back rower Alicia Joyce, who made her competitive comeback just 123 days after giving birth. The 2026 WXV Global Series marks a major shift in the women's international calendar, moving to a 3-year cycle focused on high-performance stability. This new format serves as the central pillar for the 2029 Rugby World Cup qualification, with spots on the line for the world's top nations. There has been some concern, though, as there is no promotion and relegation. The teams that are participating in this are locked in until 2028. There's some interesting gaps because this has been locked in based on the 2024 WXV rankings. Russia's currently excluded because Russia. That means Brazil is in, ranked 26, to join the emerging nations tier. This makes Brazil the lowest ranked team in the series, while Kazakhstan, ranked 19th, and Kenya, ranked 20th, are currently the highest ranked nations sitting on the outside of the 18-team structure. These teams will have to break into the next cycle after 2028. It's not all bad, though. When you look at the emerging nations fixtures, we've got Spain, Samoa, Netherlands, Fijiana, Hong Kong, and Brazil, which are teams that absolutely should be included, but really have to wonder why World Rugby went with those 2024 rankings. Away from the field, critical player welfare issues are dominating the discussion. Scotland's captain, Rachel Malcolm, again addressing the mistreatments of players during last year's World Cup. Contract uncertainty and the subsequent handling by Scottish Rugby led to profound mental health struggles within the squad, with some players describing the tournament as emotionally damaging. While the governing body has previously defended its actions, Malcolm bravely noted at the Six Nations launch that it was a hard read and that communication has significantly improved, with the union now working far more closely with the players to ensure these issues aren't repeated. Scottish Rugby has also announced a powerful new documentary following Scotland star Emma Wassell during the most grueling period of her life, titled Emma Wassell Lea, which translates to warrior in Gaelic. The film recovery from a 27-centimeter chest tumor and major surgery, while simultaneously navigating the sudden loss of her mother, providing an intimate look at her unparalleled resilience to return to the pitch. So, the Instagram account Rugby Femenil Mexico has launched a powerful digital campaign and collective protest against a wave of perceived misogyny within the game's leadership. The protest follows a March 21st incident where Rafael Diaz A., treasurer of the Mexican Rugby Federation and a leader at Tasmania Club, was captured mocking women's rugby during a men's trophy ceremony. The advocacy group argues that his podium laughs reflect systemic barriers and symbolic violence that women face, noting that firmly demanding immediate removal and disqualification of Diaz, alongside the establishment of an independent gender unit and dedicated budget for the women's branch. This has sparked a wave of solidarity across Mexican clubs, highlighting the hypocrisy of a leadership that dismisses the very athletes who recently achieved Mexico's highest results on the Seventh Circuit. And in England, with a disturbing story that has sparked a viral outcry as the entire women's side at Coventry Welsh RFC has walked away from the club, citing a total failure in safeguarding and player protection. Allegations shared by advocacy group Not All Clubs on Instagram and former players claim that 26 women reported serious, overwhelming concerns regarding sexual harassment and physical assault to club leadership, only to be met with minimization, isolation, and blame, effectively being treated like the perpetrators. Players further alleged that CCTV footage of a reported incident was shared and ridiculed among those connected to the club, leading to a deny and deflect culture that prioritized the institution over the safety of the athletes. This mass exodus means the players have nowhere to play, choosing their psychological safety over the game, and they are now facing the prospect of being forced to drop down a grade next season. There has been no official response or announcement of a formal investigation from the RFU or the local union at this time. We'll get into domestic and club news. In the Americas, USA Club Women's Rugby is roaring as championship matchups and playoff brackets are locked in across the country. In the D1 landscape, undefeated All Blues in NorCal and San Diego and SoCal continue to completely dominate the Pacific Coast. Title matches are now officially set for April 11th in several regions, including the Rocky Mountain D2 final between the Pikes Peaks and the Slugs, and the Red River D3 Showdown featuring Dallas against Bay Area. With the semifinals kicking off in the Carolinas, SoCal, and the EPRU, the road to the Super Regionals is narrowing quickly as teams fight for their lives. In Canada, round 11 of the BC Premier delivered a significant shakeup as the Vancouver Thunderbirds provided an overwhelming statement road win, defeating Castaway Wanderers 24-7 at Windsor Park. It was a critical momentum shift for the Thunderbirds that keeps them within striking distance of the top four. West Shore remains in the top spot, but the focus now shifts to a high-stakes round 12 clash after the Easter break, where the surging Thunderbirds will face the league leaders in a match that could determine the top of the table. Now in Europe, in Italy, Valsugana has been crowned the Italian champions. Valsugana provided a completely overwhelming performance in the Series A Elite Final, brutally defeating Villorba 35-3 to cap off an entire undefeated season in spectacular style. This victory secures their 6th national title and cements their status as a true powerhouse, having dominated the competition from the very first whistle this year. The PWR round 16 had some big shifts in the playoff picture. The Saracens officially clinched a home semifinal with a 54-0 shutout against Sale Sharks, keeping the pressure on league leaders Gloucester Hartperry, who maintained their perfect season, and also a home semifinal. A club record crowd at Principality Stadium witnessed an explosive upset as Bristol stunned Harlequins 17-14 behind an incredible Emma Orr double, a result that mathematically extinguished the Harlequins' postseason hopes. Meanwhile, Abby Burton's hat trick propelled Trailfinders into a commanding 4th-place position as they overwhelmingly defeated Loughborough 39-26, moving them 4 points clear of Sale with a game in hand and firmly in control of their playoff destiny. Over in Ireland, the regular season of the Nigeria AIL has come to a close with mouth-watering semi-final matchups now officially confirmed. Defending champions UL Bohemian will host Old Belvedere, while Blackrock secured home advantage for their clash against Railway Union after providing a gritty performance to edge out the Babas 17-7 in the final round. In the brutal battle for league survival, Cook's victory over Wicklow was enough to secure their top-flight status, leaving bottom side to low facing a promotion-relegation playoff. Looking ahead, the RFU has announced a major overdue restructure of the league, expanding to 12 teams before transitioning into 2 tiers to improve competitive balance and support players as they move between club, the Celtic Challenge, and international levels. Finally, we head to Africa, starting in Uganda, where round 6 of the weekend's matches completely reshaped the top of the table. The Avengers secured the result of the weekend, clinching a gritty 32-27 away victory over the Black Pearls. The win moves the Avengers into a tie for 2nd place with 19 points. In another shocking results, the Panthers managed a narrow 27-26 upset over the previously undefeated Nile Rapids, handing the Rapids their first loss of the season and preventing them from taking over the top spot. The final fixture of the round saw the Ewes and the She-Wolves fight to a rare 18-18 draw, leaving the Thunderbirds alone at the top of the table on 20 points, perfectly positioned heading into the final stretch. And in South Africa, where the regular season of the Pick and Pay Women's Super League 1 finished in breathless style, the Isuzu Bulls Daisies have predictably secured the top spot following another fantastic performance on the season. The Daisies ruthlessly defeated the Golden Lions 95-5 in Pretoria. They will now face the Sanlam Bullen Dames in the 2026 final next Saturday after the Dames provided their own gritty statement win to clinch 2nd place. The Dames outplayed the Sharks 33-22 in a tight match in Durban, scoring 5 tries to ensure they book their place in the decider after an entire season where they have been completely clinical when it mattered. DHL Western Province finished their season strongly in 3rd place after overwhelmingly defeating the EP Quins, while Free State surged past the Border Ladies. That does it. As always, there's more news on our site at yscrugby.com. Never miss an episode of Women's Rugby Rundown. You can get us anywhere you listen to your podcast from.